Good day, everyone. As a financial expert, today I'd like to delve into the topic of inflation. You might have heard this term being thrown around a lot in the news lately, and it's understandable why. Inflation is a key economic issue that affects us all, from everyday consumers to global policymakers. So what exactly is inflation? Simply put, inflation is a rise in the general level of prices of goods and services in an economy over a period of time. When the price level rises, each unit of currency buys fewer goods and services. Consequently, inflation reflects a reduction in the purchasing power per unit of money. So if the price of a burger increases from $1 to $1.10, that's inflation at work. Your dollar simply doesn't go as far as it used to. Now you might be wondering why inflation is important. Well, a small amount of inflation, about 2 to 3% annually, is generally seen as healthy. It encourages spending and investment. Nobody wants to hold on to cash. That's losing value. However, high or hyperinflation can be disastrous. It erodes the purchasing power of consumers, especially those on fixed incomes such as retirees. It can also devalue savings and lead to economic instability. Think of countries like Zimbabwe in the 2000s or Germany in the 1920s, where prices doubled every few days. On the other hand, deflation. A decrease in prices may sound good on the surface, but can be even worse. It discourages spending and can tip a country into recession. So, how do we measure inflation? One of the most common tools is the Consumer Price Index, the CPI. It's calculated by tracking the price changes of a basket of goods and services, things like food, housing, and transportation, that the average urban consumer purchases. The index shows the average change in prices over time. Now let's talk about how we control inflation. That's where monetary policies come in. Central banks, for example, the Federal Reserve in the US or the European Central Bank. They can raise interest rates to make borrowing more expensive, which in turn cools down demand and helps curb inflation. Fiscal policies set by the government, such as reducing spending or increasing taxes, can also play a part. In recent years, we've seen inflation spike globally. First, due to supply chain disruptions from the COVID-19 pandemic, and then further fueled by massive stimulus packages. These factors led to the highest inflation rates we've seen in decades, prompting central banks to implement aggressive rate hikes to try and get inflation under control. In conclusion, inflation is a powerful economic force. While a bit of inflation is necessary for a healthy economy, too much of it can be destructive. As individuals, we can take steps to protect ourselves by diversifying our investments, perhaps into assets that tend to outpace inflation, such as stocks or real estate. By understanding inflation and its impact, we can navigate these economic waters more effectively and secure our financial well-being. Thank you for listening. I hope this has shed some light on this vital economic concept.